After coaching hundreds of people on finding their life purpose and ideal career, I want to offer you today the three most common mistakes that I see people making and three tips for doing something more effective. In particular, I work with a lot of analytical thinker types like ENTPs, INTPs, INTJs, INFJs. So these three mistakes apply especially to those, but really to everyone. So, mistake number one is overanalyzing, getting stuck in your head, right? So you sit there having the same debates over and over again in your head, feeling like I just need more information, I need to read more books, listen to more podcasts, I should think about it more and more and more, right? And you kind of imagine that one day inspiration is going to strike and it's going to be clear, yes, this is the career for me. And it rarely works that way. So the truth is, you really have to. So that's the mistake. And then the right way of approaching this is you actually have to get out there and try things. You have to run experiments. So instead of thinking I just need to think about it more, the correct approach here is to brainstorm first. What are some different possibilities? What are some directions I could go? And then narrow it down through some of the techniques we'll talk about in a minute, and then begin to run experiments. How can I actually gather more practical information? Can I interview people who are already doing this? Can I try doing this job in some small way? Can I get some taste of it? Right? It's only by actually getting the experience of getting your hands on the thing, of actually doing that type of task, that you will understand for real what that's like and how much you actually like that. So, number two is feeling like there is one perfect answer, right? There's one right job. If I can only find the right job, then I'll be happy, right? And there's this idea that we get from our culture that it's going to come to us from some external source. You know, some of this is kind of religious. You know, I'm imagining from Christianity and other monotheistic religions that there's some sense that I was kind of designed for a certain purpose. I was meant to do something. This is kind of a romanticized notion, not just from religion, but from all sorts of Disney movies and different things, right? We have this notion that my fate has kind of already been decided, and I just need to find it, right? I just need to discover the thing that's already been written for me. And you know, whether you believe in Christianity or not, I think the truth is that we have more agency than that, right? That we kind of, this is our life. This is your precious life, and you get to decide how you spend it. And yes, there are practical realities, but really this is less about you kind of discovering what's already been written for you and more about you choosing with your agency, what do I care about? How do I want to spend my time? And so really this, the right approach here is really focusing on building your self-awareness so that it's less analytical, like I need to find the perfect product market fit. I need to find the correct answer, right? And more, I need to keep trying things, experimenting, not even just in kind of trying different jobs, but just having different types of experiences, going to different workshops, going to, you know, outside your comfort zone, trying different things that you don't normally try, hanging out with new types of people, going to different meetups, whatever it is. So you gather data about what kinds of things light me up, what kinds of things drain me, what do I like, what do I not like, right? It's not just about a job, it's about what would I actually be doing all day in that job? Do I enjoy that? Right? So it's less about someone telling you the answer and more you need to create your own answer. So then finally, number three is being careful of this notion that there's something that you should do. So this could come from religion or from your parents, from your family, from marketing, whatever. A really common example is parents saying, you should be a doctor, or you should be a lawyer, something like that. Like that's what we've always wanted for you. There's some implication that there is a right path, right? That other people know the right path for you instead of you deciding, right? And so I've already talked a bit about kind of building your self-awareness, but I think another angle on this, of kind of the more correct way of approaching this, is to really see it as this isn't an analytical question. What is the ideal, logical best job or best path for me? This is really an existential or spiritual question. I am a mortal being that gets to live a certain number of years in this lifetime. What do I want this lifetime to be about? Right? And depending on your spiritual beliefs, maybe you believe in reincarnation, that you're going to get other chances to have other lifetimes. Maybe you believe you go to heaven. Maybe and then you'll have all sorts of chances there to do other things. Or maybe you believe this is the end and this is your one shot, right? But in any case, this is a precious lifetime, maybe the only one, maybe not, but this is an opportunity for you to spend this limited time finding your aliveness. What is the thing that makes you feel most alive and most fulfilled? And there isn't just one answer, right? There are probably many different careers, many different paths that would be enjoyable for you. And so I think really the deepest spiritual answer here, or the deepest existential answer, is how can you find the goodness, the joy, the fulfillment in pretty much any path? Obviously some are going to be a lot worse than others. They're going to be clear bad fits, right? But I think at the end of the day, yes, try to find the right one. Try to find the one that lights you up. And sometimes there are a lot of factors outside your control. Often it's a really bad job market, and you can't be as picky, right? Or, your job's been replaced by AI, or, you live in a town that has limited opportunities, or whatever it is, right? Sometimes you only have a limited amount of control for what you can choose. And sometimes even when you do, find a great job that works for you for a while, eventually you get bored by it. Eventually it stops working so well. And that's where really that existential spiritual kind of mindfulness practice comes in, of practicing, can I approach today knowing that this job maybe isn't perfect, or it used to be perfect, but it's not grabbing me the same way that it used to. And sure, maybe I can try to change it, but I can also practice finding gratitude with what is good here, and finding a way to lower the amount of myself that I'm giving away to this job. If I'm not really truly passionate about it, is there a way that I can effort less, spend less energy on this, so that I'll have more energy available for myself when I go home to my hobbies or my family or my cat, whatever it is, right? So how can I let this job drain me less? Right? So those are the tips. And if you want more help, I've written a whole guide on this that goes into a lot of detail, and a whole interactive workbook to help you move through targeted exercises to figure out your ideal life path and dream career. And I'll drop a link to that in the comments. And happy to answer any questions that you have as well in the comments. I'd love to hear from you how this landed with you. And I wish you a nourishing day.